let's talk Trey Lance for a minute before we move on. So the Niners are going to be facing Jalen Hurts this week. What a success story. He was a second-round pick, didn't start right away, wasn't quite ready. Eagles developed him. Now he's an MVP candidate, as good as almost any quarterback in the league, and maybe a blueprint to what the Niners' backup quarterback, Trey Lance, could be given the right circumstances. Do you think there's some similarities between the two?
100%. Let's get it this way, Grant. Both these guys at age 22, okay? I'm not going to tell you who's who. Both quarterbacks at age 22. One was 54.9% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, a QBR of 34.1. The other one, 52% completion percentage, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, QBR of 33.8.
Wow.
I mean, yes, to say they're not similar would be crazy. Almost identical. One of them's being labeled by some fans as a bust. One of them's having an MVP caliber season. So the guy with the lower QBR and the lower completion percentage is actually Hurts. So Lance and him are almost identical. Lance had a better slightly QBR, better slightly field goal percentage. What it shows you is, does this mean that Trey Lance is going to end up being as good as Jalen Hurts? No, it doesn't. But what it does say is that you can't judge a quarterback based on such a small sample size, because
when he's 22 or 21.
When you're 21, 22 years old, if you write off Jalen Hurts, you're missing out on an MVP caliber quarterback right now.
Right.
And I think that's what the lesson that people need to learn from Jalen Hurts in regards to Trey Lance.
Yeah, the reason he's such a success is that Philly believed in him. They didn't write him off early. They trusted the process, and they allowed him to grow with playing time. And by year 3, he was special. Now, the Niners have sort of put Trey Lance, they've just put the whole project on hold. It's like some of these years didn't happen. So I don't know what next year would be called. Is that year 3? No, it's kind of like year 2. But if he doesn't start, he's again on the back burner. But eventually, if the Niners feel like Brock Purdy isn't, what could happen with Brock Purdy is all that running around, he could get hurt, or his physical limitations lead to the league just getting a really good book on what to do against him, and maybe the luck turns, and maybe he starts throwing a lot of picks. Who knows? There could be a need for Trey Lance in the future, and at that point, he could be better. And again, look at the quarterbacks who were left. They're all like Lance in terms of skill set. I mean, obviously, they're much more accomplished than Lance, but that's what the Niners were going. That's what the Niners were thinking they could develop with Lance. They never thought they could develop Brock Purdy into that. When they drafted Brock Purdy, I'm sure Kyle went to their scouts and was like, "Look, can we get kind of like a Nick Mullensy type as a backup late in the draft, maybe after the draft?" And they're like, "All right, we'll see what we can find. Like, we got a guy." That's what they're looking for, and of course, he's exceeded those expectations. He looks like a day 1, day 2 pick right now, maybe. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But still, that's the whole idea. You want Jalen Hurts.
At the end of the day, man, Brock Purdy's just a gamer. He's a playmaker, a gamer. He's got the mental part that you want from a quarterback. He's composed. He's confident. Those are all great things. But he doesn't have the skill sets of those top-notch quarterbacks that we're talking about. And Trey Lance has it. Now, whether he ends up being good or not, like Jalen Hurts, I have no idea. Somebody hit me on my Twitter and says, "I love Trey Lance like Ryan Hensley loves Trey Lance." Let me tell you something. I don't love any NFL players. I love my wife and my kids. I just hate the hate that Trey Lance gets based on such a small sample size. That's all I.
Yeah, it's crazy too. It's like it's not just football watchers. It's Niner fans and national media people and local media people that are so eager to bury his career at 22 after 4 stars, which is so weird. So it feels like he almost deserves certain advocates because he has so few.
Yeah.
But real quick, the thing about Jalen Hurts, like we don't know about Trey, but with Jalen Hurts can do everything Brock Purdy can do. He can throw the short passes. He can throw the quick. He can extend plays. But there's more he can do. He's got a better deep ball. He can actually scramble down. He's a legit rushing threat. He'll rush for touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Like Brock Purdy can't do all of those things, and Mahomes can, Burrow can, Josh Allen can, and Trey Lance theoretically maybe could one day. If he were developed properly. And again, the Niners have to decide whether it's, they need to do that with him. Whether they need a quarterback who's that talented.
I mean, Jalen Hurts went from having the same almost identical stats as Trey Lance to this year, 3,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, missed 2 games, only 6 interceptions, 760 yards rushing with 13 rushing touchdowns. Like, he's having an MVP caliber season. So my point has always been just be patient with Trey Lance before you make a judgment on him. And the reason why I defend him all the time is because I think the hate is irrational. It doesn't make sense to me. So that's why.
Also, he played in relief against Seattle early in the season, early in his career. He started in Arizona when the team was banged up and Arizona was good. There was no Elijah Mitchell, no Kittle. He had a broken finger. He started late in the season against Houston, looked really good. Then he comes back this year, first couple of games, the whole offense is disjointed, he gets hurt. I think it's important to remember that Brock got to play at the end of the year. The offense was clicking. Jimmy was having the best stretch of his career. They added Christian McCaffrey. They were getting healthy. And to their own admission, they don't really participate in preseason. They don't even know what they want to do on offense until the bye week. Brock Purdy kind of benefited from his timing, and I think it's no coincidence that Trey Lance's best performance came when the offense was clicking at the end of a season. So,
yeah, and all those things that you talked about with Jalen Hurts being able to do everything on the field, he was not able to do that as a rookie, right? He had a 52% completion percentage. He couldn't make the throws as a rookie. He was 22 years old, like Trey Lance is now. People just need to give it a chance to see what happens with Trey Lance. Maybe he won't be good, but maybe he will be. That's the only point I've been trying to make for the last year.
And Brock Purdy hasn't shown enough, really, until he wins a Super Bowl, to say that you don't need a quarterback who's a little bit more physically gifted than that.
Yeah,
he hasn't. Great story though. Damn good player. Not a backup. Not a backup. A damn good starting quarterback. But I don't know if you win a Super Bowl with a damn good starting quarterback. You might need a great one.
We'll see.
You might need a great one.